Hello and welcome to Elizabeth Hogarth Designs. Today I'm going to be taking a look at this beautiful collection from Kanban Crafts called Monochrome Garden. The team at Katie Sue Designs, who now own Kanban Crafts, have sent me this set to play with. We've got some new items that are a joy to work with, and I'll give you some ideas on how to use that. We've got some monochrome, as the name suggests, grey, white and black backing sheets. We've also got some toppers and some sentiments that are so easy to use. I'm going to bring them in one by one so that you can see all of the designs. Here's a snapshot of some of the things that you can be making, but let's dive into the collection itself. Here are the background papers. They really are a good quality cardstock. So you can see you've got your floral designs and you've got some abstract prints that will coordinate with black and white card plus silver mirror that you will find available from Katie Sue Designs. You can view this collection on the Create and Craft show on the 10th of October, after which it will be available to buy directly from Katie Sue. As you can see, these toppers coordinate perfectly with the background card. They are in shades of greys and whites and blacks, but you can easily colour these, and I will show you on some of my cards just how effective that can look. The toppers themselves either have a gold or silver foiling, and as you can see, they come away from the backing card very easily. So you've got plenty of designs to be working with. You've also got heartfelt sentiments, and many of the shapes are replicated in the Kanban Crafts cutting die set, so you can mat and layer each one of these elements to make a more luxurious card. You've got your standard circular, and I think now you can just about see the beautiful gold foiling finish, and again a final set. There's also a set of cards that can be used as a mat and layer on their own, or you can stamp into them. So again, you've got these in the silver and the gold, and you can see that it all coordinates perfectly with these background papers. Again, you've got some frames here, and indeed these center sections pop out as well. So you can create your own mats and layers, or just use them as a frame individually. Last, within the toppers, we've got a great set of sentiments. They have like a typeface font. The wording itself is very apt. You've got things like enjoy the little things in life, live life in full bloom. They're a little bit different. And then you've also got hugs, kisses and birthday wishes. I appreciate your kindness. Happy birthday, have a beautiful day. So there really is something for everyone. Also included in the collection is a great set of inserts. The paper quality is so good that you can easily die cut an element like this and use it as a topper. And again, the sentiments themselves are beautifully worded, with warmest wishes for a wonderful day and for even more wonderful times on the way. And they really do finish off the cards and the projects that you're going to be making. The final product that I'd like to show you are really the stars of the show, in my opinion. The team at Kanban Crafts have created these A4 sheets, and you can see the detail, the text on it is perfect. You've got wonderful designs, and I have been having a play with these, and at the end of this video I'm going to share some techniques that you can try, and you'll be amazed by the results that you can achieve. So you can see how well this design works with this. So it's a very large peelable. On the back you can easily peel it away, but I've also got some tips on how you can make that work for you. So let me show you. Here's the other one of the design. Really large floral elements that are easy to fussy cut out, and you can even just tear these sections off by hand. Depends really on the look that you want to achieve. Everything works well together. These sentiments are really heartfelt, and then you've got your old-fashioned fob watches, you've got carte postale, script and butterflies, you've got music. It's a really lovely set of images, and the Tear and Layer Vellum is a great product to have in your crafting stash. And again, you can see how well it works with the colour tone, and of course not only can you add it to coloured paper, you can colour on the vellum itself. Now that you've seen the Monochrome collection, I should also mention that there are extra items coming up on Create Craft that include some silver mirror card, you've got black and white card, there are boxes that are easily made, and some stepper cards. So I will leave you as many of the details as I can below the video in the description, but if there's anything else that you want to know, by all means leave me a question and I'll do my best to direct you to the products that you're going to need. So I started off by using the toppers with sections of this background paper, and here are some of the sentiments. I've included an insert, and I've made a set of cards that really do show the Monochrome Garden collection in all its simplicity. I love cards like this. I find them enjoyable to make and a good way to use up smaller pieces of the pattern paper, allowing me to make more with each collection. So these are the cards complete with their inserts. I then decided to create a box. You've seen me make up these boxes from Katie Sue before, and I'll leave you the link up above in case you're not too sure. But all I did was take the lower part of the box and added a cover with some silver mirror card, which is very good for construction, and then I decorated it with the background paper inside the box. And believe it or not, this design here is from the Tear and Layer Vellum, so you can see how marvellous it looks on the silver mirror card. So there's how it was in the beginning, and that's the effect that you get when you add the vellum. So this is like a band to keep the box together, but I made a set of matching tags, again all with the little parts, just all the leftovers really from making the cards themselves, and then these simply pop inside like so. Again, the silver mirror card has allowed me to add a shimmer to the Tear and Layer Vellum. So if I bring it up to the camera, you can see how the vellum gleams because the silver mirror card is behind it. And then I've added a touch of colour with a everyday colouring pen. So you've got the background paper, but then you've also got the glamour of the Tear and Layer Vellum. So you're making your own toppers in any style and colour that you like, and then you've got your inserts again. Here's another version. This time the card is portrait. We've got the silver mirror card. This is more of a matte finish, which I am a big fan of. And to get the hint of colour on the background here, I layered the vellum up onto some of the 12 by 12 decorative papers from Kanban Crafts. And then I've added more colour onto the top of the butterfly with colouring pens and finished it off with a little bit of sparkle. I've discovered that most colours work really well behind the vellum, so it really is a matter of playing to see the effect that you like. Here's one of the circular toppers, and the topper itself is being coloured using watercolour paint, just to add a little tint of colour so that you can see the quality of the toppers themselves will take your inks and your waters. So you can colour the toppers, you can colour the background paper, and then you can mix and match it with the blacks, greys and white tones to really make the colours pop. This time I've used some sparkle pens on both of the toppers, but I really was playing to see which inks and which colouring pencils would work with the collection, and I'm pleased to say that you can pretty much try everything with it. This time I've cut the birdcage from the Tear and Layer Vellum. I coloured it with inks to begin with, which I'll show you in a moment, and then I've topped up the colour with some pens. So you can blend on the vellum, you can add inks, you can add a limited amount of water, but you do need to leave it to dry naturally. And as you can see, this is one of the layers from the background toppers that coordinate so well with the colours that you're using on the vellum. This time I decided to go bright and bold with the Tear and Layer Vellum. These were the brightest colours that I could find in my sparkle pens, and you can see that the flashes of fuchsia pink and deep purple work so well together against the silver, black and white background. So don't be afraid to experiment, and you never know, you might end up with some fabulous results that you just didn't think were possible on a product that essentially up till now we've been using as peelables, but now we can make our own toppers, sentiments, we can cover boxes. The team at Katie Sue are well known for making these die cut flowers. They often make them in bright colours to match the collections that they're bringing out, but for this particular collection they've gone completely white, and you've got some hints of silver foiling over the top. So this is just a small selection of some of the die cut flowers, but I took this particular design and I added these to the vellum and then fussy cut out each one of the flowers, and if you look really carefully you can see all of the designs from the Tear and Layer Vellum covering each one of these flowers. The frame itself was made using some of the Kanban Crafts white cardstock, and then I covered it using one of these background papers, so it makes a lovely monochrome piece of home decor, and it's fairly light to send as well. The background is the matte silver card again, and I think it all works brilliantly together. So that's another top tip. Use your flowers. Not only can you ink them, you can add the Tear and Layer Vellum to the top, and then if you want to you can colour it as well. I like the simplicity of the white flowers, so this time I shaped them and I layered them up and added some of the paler foliage to create these large embellishments. This is one of the sentiments from the Tear and Layer Vellum, and again I've used some of the Moonlight Forest papers to add just a hint of colour to the top. This is another home decor project. It's a simple frame. You can buy them in that well-known Swedish store, and it was relatively easy to lay a sheet of vellum over the top and then cut away using a craft knife. If you use the knife on the angle, you'll find that you get a really clean line, but it's so easy to mould and shape around frames and boxes, and it really will update and upscale your crafting projects. This handsome couple here happened to be my parents. This was on their wedding day in 1949, and as you can see, my mama was a beautiful bride. This was on her 21st birthday, so this makes a beautiful keepsake and a wonderful reminder of happy times. And I just think the black and white on the vellum is perfect for these older pictures. Once again, you've seen me make these stepper cards before. They're a really good set of consumables to have in your crafting stash because they make card making relatively quick and easy. So here I've added some of the Antique Florist paper and used the toppers that again I've added some watercolour paint to. So even though you're thinking that this is a black and white kit, this just goes to show you can coordinate it with everything that you have in your stash. If you're interested in this particular collection, it's come back into stock and it will be available on the show, so I'll quickly run you through the designs because they are glorious. So this is 48 papers of double-sided, and it's got a beautiful sepia tone to it. So you know you've got the monochrome and you've got the sepia, and you'll find that you've got some of these floral elements, and later on the butterflies are reflected in the Monochrome Garden. It's a stunning set of papers, and you've got layers of lace superimposed onto the most wonderful flowers, and every now and then you've got your own little bumblebee. You've got plenty to be working with, and flowers like this you can actually colour because of the quality of this paper. So I would say that this 12 by 12 set of papers is really worth investing in, especially if you become a fan of the Tear and Layer Vellum, as I have. I've cut into these butterflies and used them on various cards, and here you've got some immediate card mats, and all you've got to do is cut into them, stick them onto a 6 by 6 card, and then you can add one or two sentiments. You've got toppers. You've really got a great selection to work with here. Now you've seen these papers, you can see how I have coordinated these papers, including the butterflies and the inserts, with the toppers. So this time I've gone for pale peaches, pale yellows, and a touch of pale brown, and I've used these sparkle pens to bring a touch of colour to the grayscale imagery. And then once again I've cut into the paper designs from this set and coordinated it with the Monochrome Collection to create a centre stepper card. So you've got 3 stepper card designs there using the Antique Florist papers, but coordinating them with the vellum from the Monochrome Garden. The final trio of cards I want to show you in this selection feature a set of rubber stamps that are an old Katie Sue design, but again I want to show you how you can use current toppers from the Monochrome Garden to really enhance the stamp set that you'll find on the show. So this is just a black and white design. I've added the topper and a few sparkles and a sentiment, and it really needs nothing more than that because you can see how beautiful the stamp design itself is. And then I've used some of the antique florist papers inside, and then this is exactly the same stamp, but this time I've added some colour using my sparkle pen, so hopefully you can catch that on camera. And the butterfly is one of the toppers, so don't be afraid to add that colour. And then you've got your matching papers inside. And then one final stamp set was this floral bouquet, and again I added some ink to the background before stamping onto it. If you want to see any of these techniques, then leave me a comment below and I will add it to my list of tutorials. I'm always more than happy to show you how I go about making these makes, so let me know what type of crafting you want to see on my channel, and don't forget to subscribe and invite your friends to join in as well. So here's the final stamped card. All that was required was a little bit of colour on the top. There's some great sentiments included, and then here's one of the classic inserts just to finish the card off. So now you've seen all of my design team samples for the show that's coming up on the 10th of October, I'm going to spend a little bit of time showing you some of the techniques that you can try with the Tear and Layer Vellums. I want to quickly show you again how the peelables that you can get from Kanban Crafts work in a similar way. So here I've got one of the Moonlight Forest peelables, and all I'm going to do is take it away from the sheet and then add it to my card. So you can hold it by the tips of your fingertips and slightly curl it, and then you're going to aim to put the centre of the peelable directly onto your card, and then the rest of it will automatically settle like so, and then simply rub down smoothly. So you can use the theory behind this to work with the new A4 vellum. So you can see that the colours are not affected because we're working with the white card, and you can clearly see the sentiments. So they are a wonderful alternative to stamping or adding your own sentiments. Here we have one of the A4 vellum sheets, and as I mentioned before, there is a cut on the back which allows you to position the vellum where you would like it. So you can take it from the corner and then secure it as you did before with the peelable. But the advantage of having these designs is that you can cut into them and take the areas that you would like. You can also literally tear away the parts that you want to use. So if we work down here, I'm going to tear into the vellum so I haven't got any harsh edges, which again is beautiful if you are working with mixed media and you want to layer up your work. Take your time with it. Again, it's a bit like working with tissue paper. You want to be gentle with the material. So there we've got our torn edge, I'm just going to quickly take away these edges here, because you have got a very fine white border, but I don't really want those either, so I'll just tear those away. And of course all of these parts can be used. So what you'll find is you'll either have a curve from the cut that was on the back of the paper, or you can catch the edge and then take away part. Now don't be tempted to take the whole of the backing away. I would suggest placing this part down onto your paper like so, positioning it where you would like it, and then pulling back the rest of the design. So again, here it is directly onto white card, and very, very quickly you could add a hint of colour, so work from the outside in, and then you can bring the colour down onto the vellum. I mean, it even works on your peelables, but it's the same sort of material. But if you want a hint of colour, pull the colour down. I would recommend leaving it a little while to dry, but you can get the idea of it just by adding a little bit of colour. You can of course die cut directly onto the A4 vellum, and again peel it away gently from the back and then add it to your topper. We'll do it again in white, and then peel away the back, and then smooth it down, and there you've got an instant topper on a coloured piece of card. So peel away the backing and then adhere it to your colour, and you'll see that you can make a topper in any colour just by adding the vellum. In the samples that I made, I was a big fan of the effect that you could get using Miri card. So this is matte card. And hopefully you can see the difference. This is the matte white, and there is the shimmer that you can get. It's very subtle, it's quite classy, just by adding it to the silver. We've got the vellum on the Miri again, and these are some of my old Nouveau pens, and you can fairly easily just brush on the colour, and you'll find that the vellum allows you to blend in the inks. We've got a little bit of yellow there, we've got some lighter pink, so you can work over the original colour. If you don't want it to be too smudgy, then try to leave the ink to dry naturally, but you'll also find that it works in your favour, that you can rub away any marks that you don't like, and you can also bring in the ink and just add a touch of colour. I probably needed my blending mat here, we might get that out in a moment, but you can add oxide inks or distress inks, just have a play with it. You get enough in these packs that you can die cut into it, or you can tear off strips and experiment, and then take the sections that you like for your project. And of course the background affects the way that the vellum appears. So just bring in a little bit more of the pink to create like a spotlight. If I do this again, I would definitely get out my blending mat, but luckily this is a wipeable surface. But you can see how that is bringing the vellum to life. So two more surfaces to quickly try. Here I've got some decorative vellum, so it's printed with white, and here I've got some blingy, glorious peachy pink glitter card, and you'll see again that by lining up your design, and then you've just got yourself a very subtle background to the vellum piece. And again, this could even go on to the pink. You're just adding your own designs and subtlety to the vellum to create different looks. Now let's try it with the glitter card. It really does depend upon the look that you want to achieve. Obviously the vellum knocks back the glitter card because you can see the outline of it here, but again it creates a very, very pretty topper. This is one of the Moonlight Forest papers, and you can see that you've already got very pretty subtle designs on the back here. Now I enjoy incorporating these background colours and designs with the vellum. I like the foliage section here, so there's another corner in this section here, and I would like to try to see what that would look like if it was laid down. Now you can reseal the vellum, so my tip to you would be is to carefully peel away the back, and then because the vellum is transparent you can line it up and you'll see the effect that you can get. So I like that the corner section there is going to be darker, and then the music will show up. So we'll use a pair of scissors this time, and we will just take away this section here. I want to try and keep that flower intact because we can use that for something else. And then we'll take away the extra bit. We'll take away, hold on to some of it, and then I'm going to line up that section. You've even got script behind, and it's just a beautiful way of adding dimension and interest and colour to both pieces of artwork. So that's tip number 7. Try and think about the colours on the background affecting the colours of your artwork, and then of course you can go back into it and add your own extra colour. Similarly, these sentiments are so lovely. Life is a beautiful journey. Thank you for being a part of mine. Again, if we cut these out, you can take the elements away from the A4 artwork and make your own, and then you can go back into it and use your own dies to create another topper or an element to your card, or an extra page in a scrapbook or an album. So then you just want to peel away, and then this time we're going to go over the trees, because I want the feeling of the trees behind the sentiment. So there we go. You can see the subtlety, but you can also read. So I would take a small tag die and simply cut that out. I mentioned earlier that you can actually add colour to the monochrome background. So if we take one of the more open designs, and then we've got our oxides here, and we bring in some layers of colour, can be quite bold with it, because don't forget the vellum will mute down your colours again. And at this stage it probably looks a little piece of a mess, but really you're creating your own background and creating a bit of an illusion. And then we've got some Kitsch Flamingo here, and I know that's quite a dark one, so I'm going to come off the mat first. So then I'm going to bring in another piece of the vellum, and this time I want to take this section here where I've got a postmark, and I've got, it's almost like a primula flower, so you might need to slightly pull back the corner, but then you can take the vellum, and as you did with the peelable, move it to the section where you think it's going to work. So I'm hovering, but I can almost see the colour behind it. So I've got some of the pattern, some of the colour, and I quite like this section here. So I'm going to drop it down. And of course you can use any section. The idea is that you're cut away, so you can either cut into the flower, or you can use a die to cut into it, or just cut it down with a pair of scissors. So let me bring in the circular die cut that we used before, and hopefully you can see that we've gone from white to all these colours, and there again we'll have another beautiful topper. So again, when you've got these larger areas that you want to add colour to, you can colour directly onto the vellum. Again, these are oxides, and the design will still stay, so that you can see the imagery through the ink. So if you wanted to, you could fussy cut into that and then have yourself a layer to add to another piece of artwork. So if we go in with a little bit of the yellow, you'll see that it's blending It's very smooth, it's very natural, just to keep bringing in the colour. I find it easier to take a bigger section and then cut away the areas that I like and the bits that I want. So I will end up cutting the flowers and then leaving part of the leaves and then bringing in another section for that. But you can add pens to this and you'll see that all the time you're keeping the colour. Can add more layers, but just to quickly show you, don't be afraid to play with the colours and then take away the part of the design that you want to keep. And add just a layer of colour to the edge, because you've got the drawing underneath that will guide you as to where the shading should be. But I'm hoping that that will give you an idea and that you will begin to see just how versatile this vellum is, just how much you can do with it. So again, you would really take much more time on it than I have, but you can see just by adding that hint of colour that you've completely changed the look of the black and white artwork. Followers to my channel will know that I do enjoy making up a swatch book when I've come up with some ideas. So this is my vellum tear and layer swatch book. So you can see we've got the vellum on the white card, we've got the vellum on the pink card, we've got the vellum on the matte and the silver card, and then of course I added that hint of colour, which is what you can see on that card, and also on the butterfly wings here. Moving on, we tried the pink glitter card, which you might just be able to pick up. We've got some printed vellum, which was a new favourite, I think. I'll have to work out how I can incorporate that onto an actual card. And of course the colour pens work as well. We've got the actual ink. These are those big flowers on top of the vellum, which is exactly what I did here with those bright foxgloves. And then we moved on to the inking the patterned cardstock. So we've got a little bit of that there, which is where I inked the papers on the back here. So we've ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pretty easy techniques. You can see the results in these types of cards. Don't forget, with the pattern paper you can find the patterns that you like and then add the parts of the vellum that you feel connect to the design. Final glance at the projects that I've made with the Monochrome Garden collection. I think it's a glorious set, especially for crafters who like to add their own colours. In my opinion, it is great for beginners all the way through to the more experienced crafters. But the main thing to do is to enjoy what you're creating and be proud of your creation. So don't forget to share them on the For the Love of Card Making group on Facebook. And again, I'll leave you the link below. Enjoy the shows on the 10th of October. and let me know which of these products you're going to be playing with first. I look forward to welcoming you back to Elizabeth Hogarth Designs very soon. Bye bye for now.